Grindle, and welcome to the 5th episode of Book Club. Today we're going to be having a brief look at Star Wars Aftermath Life Debt, which is the second installment of the Aftermath trilogy. Now, to be completely frank, I wasn't a huge fan of Star Wars Aftermath, the first installment of the Star Wars Aftermath trilogy, and if it wasn't for the fact that I'm trying to read and keep up with every piece of Star Wars canon, I probably wouldn't have bothered to have a look at its sequel. However, Life Debt is quite a lot better. It still has a few of the issues that I wasn't a big fan of in the first installment. I'm not really a big fan of the author's writing style, which is, a pretty large problem when you're reading an entire book by them. And I still wasn't a really big fan of any of the characters, but they are starting to at least grow on me. I'm not sure if it's because they're a little bit less whiny and melodramatic in this novel than they were in the first one, or if it's simply because I've spent 2 novels with them now, but they were definitely at least more bearable. The Aftermath trilogy advertises itself as dealing with the fallout, or aftermath as it were, following the Empire's defeat at Endor and the rise of the New Republic, which it sort of does, but only to a certain degree. It feels like for the most part in both Aftermath and Life Debt that the establishment of the New Republic and the crumbling of the Empire is sort of a B story, and the main focus in both of the novels is instead on a bunch of new characters who, as I said, unfortunately for the most part don't thrill me that much, although I'm very slowly starting to get into them. It is at least by the end of this novel that I've actually got to the point where I would actually care if any of them were killed off. We are given some insight into the forming of the New Republic and crumbling of the Empire, and the story arc following Rey Sloane is very cool, but I feel like the story arc following Rey Sloane should have been the main focus, so much so to the point that I think I would have rather been reading an entire novel simply following her story and fleshing it out much farther. While there is in Star Wars Life Debt and in Star Wars Aftermath the First a pretty large focus on new characters, there is in this second installment a much larger integration of older characters. There was Wedge in the first one, but Wedge gets a larger role, and also we see Princess Leia, Mon Mothma, Han Solo, and Chewbacca. There's probably also more that have just slipped my mind. These characters are all portrayed to certain levels of success. I think if you're a huge Han Solo fan, this novel might be worth a read, but if you're a huge Princess Leia fan, this novel might annoy you a little bit. You see, in this novel, Princess Leia is not really the diplomatic and fierce warrior princess politician that she was throughout the series, and she definitely doesn't level up to her mother in the prequels. She's instead pretty much just a spoiled child, constantly gets into arguments, and once she loses them, storms off like a 5-year-old having a temper tantrum. I really didn't enjoy this portrayal of Princess Leia, and pretty much every chapter that focused on her was really difficult to sit through. When it comes to the pacing of the novel, it's a bit of a slow burn. To begin with, it sort of had a lot of trouble holding my attention, but towards the end and leading up to the final conflicts, I could barely put it down. Overall, Star Wars Life Debt, while not being the best Star Wars novel I've ever read, is definitely not the worst. It is considerably better than its first installment. In fact, if you've not read either of them, I would almost even suggest giving the first one a miss, because it does sort of fill you in Life Debt all of the important matters, so you can probably get on with just it. However, if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, it's probably not required reading. If you're looking to read it just to find out what happens between 6 and 7, it's probably not worth reading the entire novel, because as I said, the main bulk of the story following the new characters doesn't feel like it's that important to the overall Star Wars universe, and you would probably be equally happy just finding out exactly what important points happen in dot point form on any website that surely has summed it up. This second installment has definitely given me higher hopes for the third installment than the first one gave me for the second, but as I said, I can hardly put it forward as a highly suggested reading. I can't give it much more than this lukewarm review, so while I say that I don't regret having paid for it and read it, I definitely don't put it high up on my suggested reading list. And with all of that said and done, we've come to the end of this quick review. So, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I have been and still am Grim Grindle.